Hello everybody, welcome to the new home of the IBC tote here in my aquaponic shop. Today I'm finally getting around to converting this thing into a fish tank. There are a lot of videos out there on how to make an IBC garden. I'm not really planning on doing that at this time. There are more IBC totes coming in the future, maybe, apparently. So I might at that time, but right now my main concern is simply building a larger fish tank so that I can consider adding tilapia or trout or something other than goldfish to my system. I'd like to join the ranks of aquaponic gardeners with edible fish. So this will be kind of a compilation of me turning this into a fish tank and ravaging and pillaging the old garden to make this a functional aquaponic garden. Alright, stick around, let's see how this works out. Now it has been suggested to me that I take the top part of the garden and do the traditional cut it here and flip it over and turn it into a bed. I don't have the cap. You know, probably part of why this tote was only 20 bucks. But without that cap, I got to get way more creative than I feel like doing it this time. And as I said, I would love to have a 250-gallon fish tank for my system. I appreciate my goldfish. They deserve more space. So first off, I've got to get all of these things off. Not too terribly hard to get those off. Just had to find the right Allen key. And then time to Sharpie some lines on the top of this where I'm going to cut it. And these are those rare moments in life where I find myself wishing I really had a circular saw, or even a jigsaw for that matter. But what I'm going to have to do here now, because of the limited tools I do have, is I'm going to drill a bunch of holes along my lines and then punch through with one of the hand saws I've got and try and keep it as neat as I can. We'll see how that works out. Alright, well I'm sure it's not particularly good for my drill bit, but I have discovered I can use it kind of like a saw with a little sideways pressure. So I'm probably going to kill this drill bit, but I will get the top open. We'll cut back once that's taken care of. Since this looks ridiculous, I figured I'd give you a shot of what I'm doing here. I will kill the sound right about now. Ridiculous, but it works. Well, while I'm sure that qualifies as abuse of a power tool, ha-ha! It is ready. Now I gotta get those ice blocks out of there. Oh, and the missing piece from the drain. I guess I could sort of keep this piece as a lid. Maybe put some hinges on it or something, close it down. I'm trying to keep the heat in there. We'll see how that works out. Put it to the side for now. Alright, so to get all that nasty water out of the bottom, I've got this little pump kit that I've been dying to try. We bought it for like 20 bucks ages ago. Should work pretty well, just attaches to the drill. Seems pretty straightforward. Well, after a moment to think about it and actually assemble the device, these hoses are way too short and it recommends not using hoses longer than that included. So I don't think I get to try this today. Besides, power tools in a puddle, probably not the wisest idea. Now, there have been a few moments since we moved to this house where I really wish that outdoor tap worked, which it doesn't, because it's just right here. But let's take a look at how much I've gotten out of that tote so far. Little pile of ice cubes. Well, a little pile of icebergs, I guess. An old corn broom that I found. I've been doing a pretty decent job of scrubbing the sides down with that. Got a little bit of ice left in the bottom there. Few little shavings left in the bottom there, so I'm not done cleaning it out yet. It's just kind of a quick update along the way. But that hose sure would make life easier. Thankfully though, this tap is just high enough that I can get my little watering jug. The big open hole fits just under the side there. It's on an angle, but I can drain this thing that way. So that'll be a good way to get waste for the garden when that time comes. A lot of folks may be wondering why I'm not bothering to paint the outside of this. For starters, it doesn't get a whole lot of direct sunlight. And as a follow-up, I like plecos. So if this thing develops a huge algae coating on the inside, I've got a reason to get myself a couple of plecos, don't I? They're a little funky looking, a little primeval, but that's what I like about them. So, A little more rinsing to go. And then, ooh, I've got the Einstein hair going on, wild and woolly. But anyway, basically once I get this set up as a fish tank, I'm gonna run it for a few days, maybe a week or two, to get any residual chemicals out of here. This tote was used for a food-safe fertilizer. Very heavy on the P as far as the NPK goes, if I recall. I'll see if I can find the plaque that was on here when we first got it. My thinking is any residue that's left will eventually be eaten up by the plants, and my hope is that it's food safe enough that it'll be fish safe when I finally get around to putting them in there. My fish currently spend a lot of time without the pump running because it's still daytime running system. I've got, we're still having nights where it gets below freezing, so I'm not comfortable to leave it running in those temperatures yet. But so they'll be fine, right? Like I'm not really feeding them. They get maybe a nibble every week or so. Just enough food for them each to have one, and remember the taste of food. But so they'll be fine in their 55-gallon barrel while I rearrange the rest of this stuff and yeah, run this system like a hydroponic system until I'm comfortable that the chemicals are completely out of here. So I guess the next step is I need to start unplugging things in the other room and rearranging them in here. All right. While we're in here, that kale that I put on top of the fish tank seems to be doing just fine. I brought some kale in soil the other day, and it is not doing fine at all. So dead kale, such is life, lots of kale seeds. But I've got a lot of stuff to move here. I want to use either the swirl filter itself, or I might just steal this bulkhead fitting off there, because I've only got a 1/2 inch bulkhead fitting and I'm not comfortable with that for my overflow drain. So I need this 3/4. The other option is I pull it out of the barrel where I've liquid rubbered it in place and do the same thing again. While that hasn't ever leaked, I've never really been satisfied with the look. So probably not going to do that. Probably more likely to pirate this. Alright, so we got a slight delay game here. I got to go into town, see what they've got for bulkhead fittings, because I don't really want to set my system up without a swirl filter. I've become a huge fan of them since I installed that blue tank and have been using it that way. And I don't want to take this step backwards just to take a step forwards, or to take a step forwards and end up taking a step backwards. You know what I'm talking about here. So, yeah, slight delay game. We'll get right back to you. Well, back from the co-op, and they had some bulkhead fittings, but they were like 2 inches, which is way bigger than I need, and I don't have a hole saw for that, so I'm running without a swirl filter for now. Such is life. Next, it's a matter of figuring out where I'm going to put my hole through here. I'm thinking somewhere in the vicinity of the 900 liter mark, you know, neighborhood of, probably in the centerpiece here. Easier for overflow. I'll save you the sound of the drill. Well, that cut nice and smooth for me. Not too bad at all. I did use the reverse drilling method once I got my pilot hole in there. Just a little thought on these bulkhead fittings. They do come with a thick rubberized gasket and a thinner plastic gasket. You want to make sure this rubber one is on the inside of your liquid storage, and this is right up against it on the outside. That's what creates your water seal, is this big rubber sucker right here. I've seen a lot of people have issues with their bulkhead fittings because they get them in the wrong, so there's your official bulkhead fitting tip from JT Bear. You want to make sure that thick rubber is good and flush against the inside of your tank every time. And your other bulkhead fitting tip is these things are counter threaded, which means they go backwards from usual. So if you're So if you're having issues getting this on, try spinning it the other way, guys. I'm still not gluing anything, but a little thread tape never hurts. Just saying, for a friend. Alright, well, since my swirl filter is out of the system now, I decided to dump the water in here from that. Probably not my brightest move of all time, but I'm running it through the fish net now to catch a fair bit of the poop that was in the bottom there. Hopefully this will settle out. I got a lot more water to put in here. Only up to about 50 gallons so far. That first line along the bottom, I'm not sure if you can tell the color difference there between the white and the off-white, but it's a start. Still lots to do. Well, maybe not the best way to get those solids out, but it'll work, more or less.
got a lot to go. So I'm pretty sure I mentioned already our outdoor tap isn't working. So I've been filling up this here water jug in the tub and dumping it into the tote. This is taking all day, people. I don't recommend it, but it's working. All right, so I've come to the realization that I don't think I've been to the bathroom this many times in an hour since I used to hide from the old ladies at the bingo hall in between games. Because here's a little known truth for you. Nobody is safe if they're the bingo caller. They love you on the floor, but as soon as you come out of that little cage, you're a dead man. Yeah. But I've also realized that one of these jugs here is worth a whopping inch or so in the IBC tote. I have been to and from our little bathroom so many times. I strongly recommend using a different system to fill your IBC tote if you are going to be filling an IBC tote. Okay? Just saying. Alright, I am pleased to announce that almost 2,000 pounds of water later, this thing has filled to its leveling line. Fantastic. Nothing feels quite as good as coming to the end of a project that's taken you all day, except maybe running a marathon, which I don't know from personal experience. Can you imagine me running a marathon? But we are now at that moment where I have filled the IBC tote, I have routed my plumbing, I think it's all set up and ready to run, so I'm going to plug it in and let's watch and hope nothing explodes. Alright, so the 1/2-inch pipe there is the pump going up. Focus. Which then feeds into the IBC tote and into the bed. I'm going to need to adjust the flow on both of these, I'm sure. This is a 1-inch outlet, and the bed drains from a 3/4-inch standpipe, just for all those people that have asked and I've never gotten around to answering your questions. There you go. 1/2 inch to fill, 3/4 inch to drain the bed, 1 inch to drain the tank. Okay? Because I really don't want overflow issues in the fish tank. Now, let's see. It looks like I am definitely going to need to adjust the flow into the tank. Hello, Kale. So that the bed fills up just a little bit faster. Got trickle going on there, but that's not quite enough. Alright. A little fiddling around, and then this is good to go, I think. For now, anyway. Pretty sure there will be adjustments later on. Alright everybody, well, as much as I would love to put a fish or all 10 in there today, I'm simply not going to do it. Tomorrow I'll probably put one of them in there just to kind of test, and if it doesn't go belly up, I might add one more the next day, one more the next day, one more the next day. But until then, it's just going to be running through the bed. Seems to be draining properly, seems to be shutting off properly, so that's super excited. I'm kind of tired after all of this BS today. But I'm super excited because now I've finally got myself an IBC tank for my fish, and they're gonna really enjoy it. Okay, like seriously, there's 5 times as much water in this big tote here as they have in that white bucket that they're currently living in. So I am gonna let you all go and say thank you very much for joining me today with all the various shades of light that we've been through with the camera today. It's probably a little bit annoying, but I appreciate you bearing with me. I will see you guys next time. Have yourselves an absolutely fantastic day, everybody.